Welcome aboard the USS Gerald. This magnificent vessel is one of America's largest warships, a true marvel of modern engineering and a testament to human ingenuity. Imagine a city, complete with its own airport, power plant, hospital neighborhoods, all floating on the vast open ocean. That is the reality of an aircraft carrier. It is a sovereign piece of American territory, a forward-deployed instrument of peace and power. Today, we will embark on a journey through this incredible structure. We will walk from its highest point, the bustling flight deck, down into its deepest, most powerful core. Our tour will be a simple one, designed to give you a clear picture of what each deck looks like and the vital work that happens there. This ship is more than just a collection of steel plates and advanced technology. It is a living, breathing community. Thousands of dedicated sailors call this vessel home for months at a time, each one playing a crucial role in its complex daily operations. We will explore their world, deck by deck, to understand the intricate dance of machinery and human effort that keeps this city at sea running. I will use clear words, avoiding the complex jargon that can sometimes obscure the simple truth of the work being done here. The purpose of this ship is to project air power across the globe, and every single space we visit contributes to that singular, critical mission. Our journey will be structured to give you a sense of the ship's vertical life. We will begin where the action is most visible, on the flight deck, and descend through the layers of command, maintenance, and living quarters. Along the way, I will share some small facts about the sheer scale of this warship and its crew. More importantly, I will include a small human story or a quote from a sailor on each deck we visit. These moments provide a glimpse into the heart and soul of the crew, the people who infuse this steel giant with purpose and life. The ship is a place of immense power, but it is also a place of profound care, where safety and teamwork are paramount. As we prepare to begin our tour, take a moment to appreciate the scale of what is around you. The USS Gerald is a symbol of strength, but it is also a complex ecosystem of skill, dedication, and shared responsibility. From the roar of jet engines on the flight deck to the quiet hum of the engine rooms far below, every sound and every action is part of a larger symphony. This is not just a tour of a warship, it is an inside look at one of the most dynamic and demanding workplaces on Earth. So let us begin our walk, starting at the very top, where the sky meets the sea and the mission of this great ship truly takes flight. Let's go. We begin our tour on the flight deck, the very top deck of the carrier. This is the most dangerous and exhilarating 4.5 acres on the planet. A flat, expansive runway stretches out before us, surrounded on all sides by the endless blue of the ocean. The air here is thick with the smell of jet fuel and hot metal, a scent that never quite leaves you. The deck is controlled chaos, a high-stakes ballet of aircraft and personnel. Jets, weighing tens of thousands of pounds, are catapulted into the sky with incredible force. They go from 0 to over 160 miles per hour in seconds. When they return, they must catch a single arresting wire with a tail hook, a feat of precision that never ceases to amaze. The incredible noise is the first thing that commands your attention. The thunderous roar hits deep in your chest. To manage this environment, sailors communicate with hand signals and bright jerseys. Yellow shirts, aircraft directors, guiding the planes with confident gestures. Green shirts, they handle the catapults and arresting gear. Purple shirts, the grapes, responsible for fueling the aircraft. Red shirts, ordnance and crash response. Blue shirts, they move and secure the planes. It is a visual language of teamwork, spoken fluently under immense pressure. Safety is the unspoken creed of the flight deck. Every movement is deliberate. Procedures are followed without deviation. Lives depend on this unwavering focus. A young sailor named Mark, a yellow shirt who directs F/A-18 Super Hornets, once shared his perspective during a lull in operations. He wiped sweat from his brow, his headset pushed back. "You feel the power out here," he said, his voice filled with awe and deep respect. "When that pilot salutes and the jet screams down the cat, you know you're part of something much bigger than yourself. This is my favorite place to be, right in the middle of it all." At night, The scene transforms into a world of dim lights and glowing wands, where the trust between sailors and pilots is tested in near darkness. Each launch and recovery is a victory, a successful execution of 1,000 small, critical tasks. From the person checking the catapult pressure to the one securing the chocks under the wheels, every action matters. This is where the carrier's mission begins and ends, a place of constant motion, noise, and incredible skill, operating at the very edge of what is possible. Yeah. Descending one level below the frantic energy of the flight deck, we arrive in the hangar deck. The change in atmosphere is immediate. The open sky is replaced by a massive, cavernous ceiling, 3 decks high. This is the ship's garage and workshop, a vast space where aircraft are stored, maintained, and repaired. Giant armored doors line the sides of the hangar, which can be opened to the sea, allowing for fresh air and a stunning view. 4 huge elevators, each large enough to lift 2 fighter jets, connect this deck directly to the flight deck above. This space is a hive of methodical activity. Aircraft, with their wings folded up to save space, are parked in neat rows. Teams of mechanics, avionics specialists, structural engineers swarm over them, performing everything from routine checks to complex engine replacements. Walls are lined with tool chests, diagnostic equipment, and neatly organized racks of spare parts. Everything has its place, labeled and logged with military precision. It is a place of grit, grease, and profound expertise. A young mechanic named Anna, her hands stained with hydraulic fluid. She paused, wrench in hand, and a smile touched her lips as she looked at her team. "Last week, we had a bird come down with a serious issue," she explained. "We worked on it for 16 hours straight, right through the night. When we finally finished the repair and the engine fired up perfectly, we all just stood there and cheered." Her story highlights the camaraderie and deep satisfaction found in this demanding environment. The hangar deck is also a primary hub for the ship's damage control and firefighting efforts. Red-painted stations with hoses, extinguishers, and breathing apparatus are strategically placed throughout the area. The wide-open space can be quickly divided by massive fire curtains that drop from the ceiling, containing any potential blaze. The sailors who work here are not just mechanics. They are also trained first responders, ready to protect their workshop and their ship at a moment's notice. Now we ascend from the hangar, making our way up to the island, rising above the flight deck. This is the island, the ship's command and control center. From the outside, antennas, radar domes, observation windows. Inside, it is the ship's brain. One of the most critical spaces within the island is the bridge located on the forward side with large panoramic windows offering an unobstructed view of the sea ahead. This is where the ship is steered. The captain, navigators, watchstanders command the vessel's movement. They use advanced electronic charts, radar displays, and visual observation to guide the carrier. Just above the navigation bridge is flight deck control, Pry-Fly. This small, glass-enclosed room juts out over the flight deck, giving the air boss an unparalleled view of every launch and recovery. From this perch, the air boss and his team orchestrate the entire aerial ballet. They are in constant radio contact with the pilots and the crews on deck, their calm, authoritative voices cutting through the noise to ensure every movement is synchronized and safe. It is a place of intense focus, where split-second decisions can mean the difference between routine and incident. The island is where the ship's movement and flight operations come into harmony. The human stories from the island often speak of immense responsibility and the need for a steady hand. Commander Lee, a former air boss, once described the pressure of a busy launch cycle. You have multiple aircraft moving, the weather is changing, and you're watching fuel states, his eyes scanning the deck below. You can't get flustered. Your voice has to be the calmest one on the radio because everyone on that deck and in those cockpits is counting on you. You learn to trust your training and your team implicitly. This highlights the quiet professionalism that defines command. a calmness that belies the complexity of the task at hand. Further within the island are spaces dedicated to radar operations, communications, and signal analysis. These windowless rooms are filled with the soft glow of electronic displays, where sailors monitor the air and sea for hundreds of miles. They are the eyes and ears of the carrier, giving command a complete picture. The island, from its highest antenna to the navigation bridge, is the nerve center of the ship. So that's where the decisions are made. Leaving the high-tech command centers of the island, we journey deep into the hull of the ship to see where the nearly 6,000 members of the crew live and eat. These are the crew living areas, or berthing compartments. A typical berthing room contains dozens of bunks, stacked 3 high, creating a small personal space for each sailor. Privacy is a luxury. A simple curtain pulled across the bunk is often all that separates one person's world from the next. Lockers are provided for personal belongings, and every inch of space is used efficiently. Despite the close quarters, sailors make these spaces their own. The walls of their small racks are often covered with photographs of family and friends, postcards from home, and notes from loved ones. These small personal touches are vital links to the world beyond the ship, reminders of what they work to protect. In the common areas of the berthing, off-duty sailors gather to play cards, watch movies, or simply talk, building the strong bonds of friendship that are essential for life at sea. Petty Officer Maria, a logistics specialist, once showed a picture of her 2 children taped beside her bunk. "Some nights are long," she admitted quietly. "Looking at their faces reminds me why I'm here. We become a different kind of family out here. We look out for each other." Just as important as a place to rest is a place to eat. The ship's galleys and mess halls are a hub of social activity. The culinary specialists on board work around the clock in stainless steel kitchens to prepare thousands of meals every day. The scale of the operation is staggering. They serve everything from scrambled eggs for breakfast to steak and lobster on special occasions. The mess decks are large, noisy dining rooms where sailors from every department come together. One of the ship's head chefs, Chief Tony, once described the challenge and reward of his job. "On a busy day, we can serve over 18,000 meals. You're constantly thinking, planning, and cooking. But the best part is when a young sailor comes through the line and tells you that the stew reminds him of his mom's cooking back home. That's when you know you're doing more than just feeding a crew. You're providing a little piece of home." We now descend into the very bowels of the ship, to the engineering spaces that are the source of all its power and life. These are the engine rooms and reactor compartments, areas that few ever get to see. The environment here is a stark contrast to the rest of the ship. The air is hot, a dense jungle of pipes, valves, gauges, machinery, all painted in functional shades of gray and white. The constant, powerful hum of massive turbines is the dominant sound, a deep and resonant vibration that you feel through the soles of your feet. This is where the ship's nuclear reactors generate immense heat, creating the steam that drives the turbines. These powerful turbines do 2 critical jobs. First, they turn the ship's giant propellers, pushing the 100,000-ton vessel through the water at speeds over 30 knots. Second, they generate all of the electricity needed to power this floating city. Every light, every computer, every radar screen, the powerful electromagnetic catapults on the flight deck draw their energy from the work done here. The sailors who work in these spaces are highly trained engineers and nuclear technicians. They stand watch in shifts, meticulously monitoring hundreds of gauges and control panels to ensure the plant is operating safely and efficiently. Their work is precise, demanding, and absolutely essential. The responsibility that rests on the shoulders of these engineers is immense. Chief Engineer Ramos, a veteran with decades of experience, described his perspective while running a diagnostic on a coolant pump. He wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead with the back of his gloved hand. "Down here, you have to be precise. There's no room for close enough. I see the ship as a living thing, and these reactors are its 2 hearts. My crew and I are the doctors. We keep the hearts beating strong so that everyone else on this ship can do their job without a second thought." This sentiment captures the profound pride and ownership that the engineering crew takes in their unseen but vital work. Safety in the engineering spaces is the highest priority. Redundancy is built into every system, and the sailors undergo continuous, rigorous training to respond to any possible emergency. They are the quiet, unsung heroes of the ship, working in a hot, noisy, and complex environment far from the sunlight. The lights would go out, the propellers would stop turning, the jets on the flight deck would be left stranded. The immense power of the USS Gerald originates here. It's really something. While the carrier's primary strength is its air wing, the ship itself is a formidable warship equipped with an array of advanced defensive systems. Our tour now takes us to the spaces where these weapons are stored, maintained, and controlled. Deep within the ship's hull are the magazines, heavily armored compartments where missiles, bombs, and ammunition for the aircraft are kept. These areas are climate-controlled and protected by multiple layers of security. Sailors working here, known as aviation ordnancemen, are responsible for assembling the ordnance and transporting it via special elevators up to the flight deck, where it is loaded onto the jets. Their work is slow, deliberate, and governed by strict safety protocols. Lining the edges of the ship, on platforms called sponsons, are the carrier's self-defense weapons. Missile launchers like Evolved Sea Sparrow and Rolling Airframe missile systems, and the Phalanx CIWS, a radar-guided Gatling gun that can fire thousands of rounds per minute to create a final, protective wall of metal. These systems are largely automated but are monitored and maintained by highly skilled fire controlmen and weapons technicians. A young weapons technician named Jonah was once observed performing a painstaking inspection on a missile launcher. He moved with a quiet intensity, checking each connection and circuit, his checklist in hand.
When asked about the repetitive nature of his work, he looked up and said, "Every check I make, every box I tick, is a promise. It's a promise to every other sailor on this ship that this system will work perfectly if it's ever needed. My job is to make sure we are protected, and I take that promise very seriously."
The defense of the carrier is not just about its own weapons, it is a team effort. The carrier travels as the centerpiece of a larger strike group. These escort ships form a protective screen, using their powerful radars and long-range missiles to defend the carrier well before threats get close. A warship as large and complex as the USS Gerald is not just a place of work, it is a community that must be able to care for its own. Our next stop is the ship's medical and dental bay, a surprisingly comprehensive healthcare facility located within the vessel's hull. This area looks much like a small-town clinic or hospital: examination rooms, dental office, laboratory, fully equipped operating room. A team of doctors, nurses, dentists, hospital corpsmen are on duty 24 hours a day. They handle routine checkups and minor illnesses. They handle serious injuries and emergency surgeries. The ship's hospital has an intensive care unit and a ward with dozens of beds. The dental facility is equally important. A painful toothache can be as debilitating as any other injury. Prompt, professional medical and dental care at sea is crucial for health, readiness, and morale. Nurse Leah, a compassionate and experienced officer, shared a story. "We had a young sailor come in who had broken his finger during a maintenance task. He was scared and in a lot of pain, thousands of miles from his family. My job was not just to set the finger, but to talk to him, explain what was happening in a calm voice, and reassure him. On a ship this big, it's easy to feel like a small part of a machine. In medical, we get to remind people that they are cared for as individuals. Healthcare at sea is as much about human connection and comfort as it is about medicine." Beyond physical health, the ship also has resources for mental and spiritual well-being. The ship's chapel offers services for various faiths, a library for quiet reading and study, counselors and chaplains, gymnasiums, and recreational spaces. These facilities are essential for a resilient, focused crew, ensuring the human element remains as strong and healthy as the ship's steel. So, yeah, they're really vital. Our tour of the USS Gerald is now coming to an end. We have walked its decks, from the sun-drenched, wind-swept flight deck down to the hot, humming engine rooms deep within its core. We have seen where the crew works. We have seen where they live. We have seen where they eat. We have seen where they are cared for. A carrier is indeed a stunning mix of powerful machines and dedicated people. The advanced technology, electromagnetic catapults, nuclear reactors, is breathtaking. But even more impressive is the human element, the intricate teamwork that brings steel and circuitry to life. Each deck has its own purpose. Each deck has its own rhythm. Each deck has its own community of experts. Think back on our journey. The precise, courageous ballet of the flight deck crew. The methodical skill of the mechanics in the hangar bay. The calm authority of the command team in the island. The quiet focus of the engineers in the ship's heart. Consider the thousands of sailors living in close quarters, a unique family far from home. This ship is more than the sum of its parts. It is a symphony of service. Thousands of individual notes, each sailor's job forming a powerful, harmonious whole. The ship's purpose is to stand ready, a guardian of the seas. Readiness is not technology alone. It is forged in daily routines, constant training, and a shared sense of duty. It is found in the pride of a young navigator plotting a perfect course, the satisfaction of a chef serving a taste of home, the vigilance of a weapons tech ensuring defenses are flawless. The USS Gerald is a symbol of American strength, rooted in the character, skill, and commitment of its people. They answer a call that spans oceans and generations. Thank you for walking these decks with me. I hope this brief tour has given you a deeper appreciation for this floating city and its incredible people. When you see an aircraft carrier on the horizon, see more than a silhouette of steel. See the community within. See the thousands of hands and hearts working as one. See the flight deck, where courage takes flight. See the many decks below, each a small world dedicated to keeping that mission alive. This ship, and the sailors who serve on it, represent a profound commitment to service, a steady presence in an unsteady world.